Teaching Phonics and Word Recognition for Successful Decoding Skills. In one of my readings, I came across with an idiom that says, there are many ways to skin a cat. And that means there are multiple ways to accomplish something. In most cases, it is absolutely true. There is usually more than one solution to a problem and different ways to approach most tasks. When talking about teaching reading, there are several approaches that have been researched and debated. The aforementioned idiom also means that an issue can be approached in different ways, but the final result will be the same. With reading, that is not the case. The manner of instruction is just as important, if more so, as what is instructed, and it significantly affects the result. So it is very important to do the instructions in teaching reading right. And the objectives for this session will be to understand how phonics for reading directly connects to the science of teaching reading, discuss the basics of phonics, identify the steps in teaching phonics using the Fuller approach, and discuss the Fuller technique in teaching beginning reading. And we will be writing activities in teaching beginning reading using the Fuller technique or the explicit teaching. Very quickly, we will just do this brainstorming activity. So I would like you to group, and according to Sir Denmark, there are 5 regions, so let us just group by region. So we will have 5 groups, discuss the ways how to teach or develop decoding and word recognition skills to your students. Just go back to the classroom and think of how do you teach decoding and beginning skills, and then what are the challenges some student may have with decoding and word recognition. So we will just work this out for 3 minutes. What are the ways to teach decoding and word recognition skills? And if these are the ways that you have identified, why is it that some of our students still do not know how to decode words? What could be some of the problems? So we see this is phonics. The topic is on phonics, and phonics is about knowledge of the alphabetic code, skills of segmenting and blending. Phonics is a method of instruction that helps children learn and be able to use the alphabetic principle. The concept that words are made up of letters and letters represents the sounds. So earlier, Ma'am Rose has the sounds. This one, lalapatan natin ng simbolo ang mga tunog. We'll place symbols with the sounds so that we will be teaching phonics. With phonics instruction, we does this by teaching children to decode words by sound, showing them how to make connections between the letters of written text, the graphemes or letter symbols, and the sounds of spoken language. Phonics involves the relationship between sounds and their spelling. So pag alam mo ang sound, alam mo mag-spell. The goal of phonics instructions is to teach students the most common sound-spelling relationship so that they can decode or sound out words. This decoding ability is a crucial element in reading success, when they know how to decode. Let's try this. I want you to read this. Okay, this is the longest word in the dictionary. This is actually a word. Were you able to read it? Who would like to read it? Sige nga, please na nga. Try lang.
All right. Pneumono ultramicroscopic silicon novocanoniosis.
Okay. Everybody, let's all read. 1, 2, go. Okay, very well. What's the experience? What did you do to be able to read? Anong ginawa una? Siyempre pagkakita parang, tapos paano nabasa? Kasi nabasa. Is this the first time you see this word? Yes, but you were able to decode. What's the principle behind? What did you do? You segment the letters. Yes, what else? Oh, syllabication is segmenting the letters. What else did you do? You blend the sounds. And because you have the knowledge, you already know that this word, kaya nga lang ano siya, kaya nga lang itong this one, how do you pronounce this? Okay. Because you already have the background knowledge. Pero pag ang bata, what I want you to do is just to experience how to attack a word, how to read a word without actually, this is the first time that you have read the word, you don't know the word, but you were able to read. That's actually what I would like you to feel. And you were able to read. This is the meaning of the word. Refers to a lung disease contracted from the inhalation of very silica particles, especially from a volcano, is the same as silicosis. So that's the meaning of the word actually. Everybody please read. What's the experience? Easy? Easy, why? Okay. Yes, prior knowledge again, and you know how to decode, and you know the principles, and you can easily see it just by looking at the word because it has been there in your books, in your cell phones, everywhere you have read and you have seen the word, and it's automatic. That is what we would like our children to do. When they see the word, they will automatically read it. Why is phonics important? Phonics allows children to be able to learn words they have never seen before by sounding out the word letter by letter, just like we did with the very long word. We have not seen it before, but we can read it. That is what we want our children to do. When children learn to read by word sight, it means they will be able to remember how to pronounce that word when they see it again. But if they see a word they don't recognize, they won't have the skills needed to decode how to pronounce it. This is why phonics is important. So you teach the letter sound so that when they will see the word, they will be able to read it. Teaching children to read with phonics means not only teaching them the decoding skills needed to look at the word and pronounce it correctly, but also giving them the skills to know what to do when they discover a new word. Like the first word I showed you, like the longest word I showed you, you know what to do with it. That is what we are going to teach our children to do. When they are more skilled, when the children are more skilled, and they have all the phonic sounds, it will become automatic and your child will be able to read fluently just like the word. Everybody please. Is this a word? What's the meaning? Okay. Actually, in the WWW, it is classified as nonsense word. But people have meaning for this. How should we structure phonics instruction? Dalawa lang. You go explicit and you go explicit. Because you can either go bottom up or top down. Pwedeng ganon. Pero explicit pa rin siya. Because according to researches, according to the source, it is the most effective type of phonics instruction, especially for children at risk for reading difficulties. You can also use implicit instruction, but it is more on discovering clues. This one, you have to teach all, and you have to teach them how to blend. Explicit, para siyang incidental learning lang. Pero pwede siya. Okay? So these are the ano ba to? Explanation of going explicit is a structured literacy, and going implicit, it's analytical phonics. So let's try to see the different types of phonics. So we have three. We have analytic phonics, embedded, and synthetic phonics. So with analytic, begins with a whole word and analyzes it. So you have the word, and then you segment it, and then you go down to the last sound. When you do that, with analytic, you notice the first letter or letters in the word. And then students taught to compare a sound pattern within the words, and then taught along with the whole word method. So if it is analytic, it's whole word method. If it is embedded, it's incidental. Phonics taught in the context of reading stories or when problems arises. Pag may nakitang word, tsaka lang ituturo. Pag synthetic, magsisimula siya sa code. Magsisimula siya sa sounds of the letter. And you will notice every letter in the word left to right. Dito, sa analytic, ang first letter lang. Dito, lahat ng letters. And then, you teach them how to blend and then read decodable stories. Analytic phonics includes analogy phonics by teaching onset and rhyme. So mamaya, when we will work with fuller approach, we do the onset and rhyme by word families. Kanina, in-explain na ni Ma'am Rose. Mamaya, ipapakita ko kung paano siya gagawin. Embedded is incidental. Kung kailan mo lang siya na come across, kung kailan mo lang siya nakita, tsaka mo lang siya ituturo. So sometimes, some vowel sounds are often left untaught. This is the setback of embedded. Synthetic, learn to segment words to spell them. Some common spelling words are taught. You heard Ma'am Ross when she say, if you can read it, you can spell it. Because, again, the sounds are already taught. And this is systematic. No guessing from pictures, initial letter, context, or word shapes. So they don't guess. You or we teach them. So it involves relationship between sounds and written symbols, whereas phonemic awareness involves sounds in spoken language. Sinabi na ni Ma'am Rose kasi yan. Halimbawa sa word na cat, bawat letters merong sounds. So when you ask the children to manipulate those, it's phonemic awareness. And it is on oral. Oral language lang talaga siya. If it's phonics, it's giving it the written symbols. Okay, most phonic awareness tasks are oral. So these are the phonic terms. So we should know what phoneme is. Is the smallest unit of sounds in spoken language. So these are examples of phonemes. And when you know they are inside the slanting lines, it means that's the sound. It's not the letters, it's a sound. So grapheme, the letter or the group of letters representing one's speech sound. Onset, the initial consonant or consonant cluster in the word name. N is the onset, and the word blue, BL is the onset or bl. The rhyme is the vowel or vowels, is the vowel or vowel and consonants that follow the onset. So in the word name, aim is the rhyme. So this one is the most, one of the best ways to use in teaching beginning reading or decoding and word recognition. So you have the digraphs, vowel graph, schwa sound, and the morpheme. Those are phonic terms that we use, but we don't teach this to our children. We made them feel it and use it.